Welcome everybody. It's a little bit early start, a couple of minutes. Welcome to Sculptors in the House, Michelle, and we have me, Bold GM, Casper Kenobi, hello. Anyway, absolutely fantastic you're popping in to see me. Hello Rod. Today we have the absolutely Ma'al Drakar miniature. It's absolutely huge, as you can see. I've had to zoom my camera out extra far so we can have a little look-see and unbox this miniature. Now, before I start, this is the second one of these that I've painted. The first one I painted about 2-3 years ago, and I sent that off to the USA. But I did a custom base for that particular Ma'al Drakar, and there's no way I could post that abroad because it's all made out of clay and it would have broken up into little pieces. Hello Dover Cook. So let's make a start and I'll show you the miniature. You probably all know exactly which miniature I'm talking about, but this is the one. It's absolutely huge, absolutely monstrous, and I'll try and move the camera around so you can all see. Hello. There we go. And we got cat's hairs all over it. Yes, so this is the actual size of it. It's absolutely, I can't even see chat now. Hello Dover Cook. So the base isn't in this miniature. Now Reaper released a new addition to this miniature. I had the original first one. This is the second edition type of release, and as you can see, if you're really lucky, you get a set of paints with the deluxe edition, and you get 12 different paints in the box. So if you are able to get hold of the deluxe edition, I think it costs about the same price, but you get all these lovely paints inside. But if not, it's still a fantastic miniature. But there was an offer, I don't know if it's still going, where you could get some free paints in your box. But as you can see, it's a huge miniature. Of course, based on like Tiamat, I would say, from Dungeons and Dragons. So what we'll do is we'll get this out of the box and we'll try sticking it together, shall we? Right, this could get messy. I'll show you the box artwork as well, because the box comes with some great artwork. Goodness me, I need a bigger workshop. Now the back of the box, of course, comes with all the beautiful, the actual box artwork is absolutely gorgeous. Sculpted by Julie Guilfrey, and Michael Proctor painted the studio model. As you know, Michael Proctor is an absolutely amazing painter himself, but Julie Guilfrey is absolutely the ultimate in sculptors. Absolutely beautiful. So you got all the gossip on the back about the miniature, and it says here a wingspan is over 13 inches or 33 centimeters. I mean, it's just a ridiculous size. I mean, I don't know how many people would use this in any of our Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder games, but if you do, I think I don't think you got much chance of surviving. Okay, let's take this out. It's absolutely huge, 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 huge. Oh. Okay, so let's see if we can get it out of the plastic. Probably making lots of horrible noises on the microphone, and I do apologise about that. There we go. Oh. an unboxing show where it actually takes 1 hour to unbox the miniature. Okay, let's see if we can get these bits out. It's absolutely huge. Like I say, I've painted this miniature before, and I did do a YouTube video on painting the eyes, but I thought I could do another nice video of me painting a nice little Twitch stream of a couple of parts of me painting this miniature, because what I want to do is actually paint it in the same colours as the old 1980s Dungeons and Dragons cartoon, if most of you will hopefully remember that, with Uni the unicorn. So what we'll do, excuse me, what we'll do is we'll go, oh, dear me, making lots of noise. What we'll do is we'll go and we'll do blues, we'll do greens, black, white, for all the different colours of the heads. The last one I painted, I made him into like a fire dragon, and it was all in red, but this time we'll go a little bit further into the painting. Okay, so this is the main body. So what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to stick the wings on, but I'm just going to show you what it's like kind of together. It's an absolute beast, as you probably know. I might need to bend a few pieces into shape using the hot and cold water method. Let's see if I can zoom this out a little bit more. There we are. Thank you for the donation, Mordor Fangirl. Mordor Fangirl. Hello. We've got a little tail. Just sticks on there. There we are. And of course we've got the arms, and we got the different heads, and I think I'm going to have to zoom in closer to show you these. When you're doing large models like this, it's very difficult to actually show you the true scale on the show, but I'll try my best to show you all the different parts. What we need to do now is get some focus so we can get a little closer look at the heads of this beautiful miniature. Let's actually move this in a little bit further. There you go. There, that's a bit better focus. So this is the first head. And where's my little, there's for scale, C4 scale. We'll use C4 scale so you can get an idea of how large each head is. Naif, you read my mind, Naif. C4 scale to the rescue. Did I just give that one? There we are. Now, like I say, what I'm going to be doing is I shall be painting this dragon in the same colours as the 1980s cartoon, the Tiamat from that original cartoon series, because I think that's just beautiful. Does anybody know the original name of the dragon from the 1980s show? There's Brucey bonus points for anybody who knows. Yeah, Tiamat. I've already said it once on the show, haven't I? Actually, it goes a little bit further than just Tiamat, but it's okay. It's okay. I don't know if 1 second, guys. Let me just call to my Scorpler. Scorpler, can you go into my display cabinet and can you grab my original Tiamat miniatures from Dungeons and Dragons that I painted with the certificate and bring it in for me, please? Just so I can show them a reference of the original cartoon series Tiamat. You're gonna love this. Now, what it is, I've got a collector's edition of the original Tiamat, and it's absolutely beautiful. And I painted that also in colours of the original cartoon series. Hello, Mrs. Touch. Hello, Nath. Again, it's always lovely to see you all on the show. Just waiting on my little Scorpler. She's going to bring in the little dragon for me because she's lovely. What I'll do as well is I'll show you the base in a minute, how I'm getting on with the base. I'll just carry on showing you the parts while I'm waiting for Claire. So we've got a little leg. And of course we've got the heads. Let me see if we can find the correct head here. Right, okay, this one is probably going to go on there somewhere, like so. And like I say, it's an absolutely beast of a miniature. I don't think that one goes on there. Nope. It must be that one. There we go. 1 second, everybody. I'm just going to grab this miniature from my partner. Yes, that's perfect. Scorpler just says to me, "Is that the right one?" Right, this is a bit dusty now. It's been in my display cabinet for a long time. But this is the original Tiamat, and it's by Ral Partha. And I painted that many years ago. Let's see if we can get it in there. And I'm not trying to take the glory away from the Reaper miniature. I just wanted to show you the color schemes that I wanted to go for. And this is again based on the I based this on the cartoon series. This one actually came with a certificate of authenticity, and that's the actual name: Takhisis, Queen of Darkness, Ral Partha Enterprises. And this was number 2905, and there's only 5,000 castings of this particular miniature. So this mini is one of my ultimate favourites, collectible. It's in my little display cabinet. It's a little bit dusty, needs a little bit of a clean. Excuse me. But absolutely gorgeous, solid metal. It's absolutely weighs a ton. It's a beast, as you can see. But yeah, an absolutely beautiful miniature. And this is the colour scheme which I'm going to base my Reaper Miniatures Dragon on. So there we are. I just wanted to quickly show you that because it's very exciting. it's a beautiful miniature. Okay, let me get this out of the way then, and we'll go back and I'll show you. Oh, thank you, Michelle. That's very kind of you. I got to find somewhere to put this now. I got such a tiny little workshop, and it's absolutely brimming with miniatures everywhere. There we go. Okay. Little boxes everywhere. I need a TARDIS. That's what I need. I need a TARDIS where I can just store everything. Okay, let's get the focus back. There we go. Okay, let me show you the base. Now, the base that comes with this miniature, I've already painted. There's still a little bit of work to do on the base for this miniature. But like I say, I've already done the base. So, I won't be able to actually show you how to paint the base, but we can go through painting the actual larger miniature itself and do the heads and some wet blending and stuff. But today it's all about just unboxing the video, showing you the miniature, and of course I'll show you the paints that we're going to use for the different heads and the colours. And what we might be able to do if we got time is maybe get a little bit of a primer coat on some of the pieces, but of course we need to prime, we need to actually check everything for mould lines as well. We got the pile of death. Look at that. It looks like a little snack for a giant. We got it looks like a tray of giant dragon heads. Yum. Okay, let me get this out of the way, and then I'll bring down the base for you all to see. I'm going to have to just dump it on the floor for now. Whew. It's very difficult doing a stream with very large miniatures because there's just no room in my little room. Right, let me just check what everybody's been chatting about. Yes, metal miniatures, in my opinion. You can have all the resin miniatures, you can have all the plastic miniatures, you can have all the bones miniatures. But I am an absolute fan of metal. It has to be metal for me all the time. Okay, so I need this to spin this around. This is the base that comes with the Drakar miniature. This is my custom base that I made for the dragon. Now, this is a lava base, which many of you have probably already seen. But this is the part here, just here. Let me get a little pointy stick. This bit here are the parts that come with the actual dragon in the box. So what I've done is I've added air drying clay completely to the base and all around, and it goes all around here and underneath. So what I've done, I've made a complete diorama base for the dragon, and then I've painted in the lava. Now the lava is yes Claire, it is super heavy. This is why I could not post this with my first dragon, because this it's quite a few kilos there, because it's solid air drying clay. What I'll do is I'll show you the dragon on it in a minute, but I'll explain how I painted the different things. Yeah, Michelle, totally. This is definitely in my little collection. Hi Ty, I hope you're okay at work. I'm so sorry that you have to work. Anyway, let's get back. I hope you can all see this okay. It's one of my favourite pieces that I've painted. For the lava, what I've done with the lava is I gave it a very, very bright light effect, and I did that by painting the base white. So I've painted quite a few layers of bright white, and then I just used a yellow ink wash and an orange ink wash and a red ink wash. And what happens then is, of course, that white starts pushing through the bottom of the lava. Let's see if we get better focus. There we go. So the lava starts pushing through. I've got cat's hairs on it as well. And that gives us that lovely bright light source coming from beneath the lava. And then, of course, along the sides, to get that lava effect, what I've done is I've added some orange ink wash and then mixed that, or wet blended as you call it, into the red, and just to give it like a cooler effect to the outside. And then, of course, for the rocks, I painted them grey, and then I've added some black ink washes, and then I've used some greys for dry brushing, and there's some heavier greys for dry brushing, and then I started doing some lighter dry brushing with some lighter tones of some cream colours. And then on the rocks, what I did then, I started dry brushing. If you can see on these rocks here, I've dry brushed the red all along these rocks, and that gives a lovely little light source coming from the lava. So it looks like the lava is actually flowing along, and the light from the lava is shining up on these rocks, and that's just by dry brushing some nice orange onto these rocks, and that gives a really lovely a really nice lava effect going around the whole base. And I just did that all the way around, and it's on this base. This is a 12" by 12" 6mm thick hard base. It's absolutely beautiful, absolutely lovely. I always like to use a nice 12" by 12" base for any of my stuff. Hello, Highland lass. Wow, haven't seen you or talked to you in ages. I hope you're well. Anyways, let's move this out a little bit more. But as you can see, it really does give a lovely effect to the base. So this is the base that comes with your dragon if you buy the set. Now it comes with both sets. If you get the deluxe set, which is with all the paints, or if you get the original set, you'll get these parts here. Let me see if I can show you again. Just remember, you won't get the lava base. You get these parts here with the little murals on, the little sculptures. There's a little dragon on this base here. Look, just there, which is very, very nice. So you can really make a nice little sculpture, and you can see it's got some nice little dragons going all the way around. So you've got like a dragon temple, as we call it. We've got a nice little dragon temple built into all the rocks. Now this part and this part you get with the miniature, and I can show you the parts now. Just here, this is one of the parts here where the miniature gets placed, and just on the top there, there's one there. Okay, let's see if we can add the miniature just to give you an idea. Okay. So our little miniature will be going in one of these little holes here. Gonna have to zoom out again for this one. So this bad boy goes into these parts here. Of course, the tail will be on like so. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll stick these parts on, and then I can show you much easier. I'll see if I can move this over to the side a little bit. There we go. Right, for sticking my miniatures together, I always use the super glue. I use Loctite super glue. Absolutely fab stuff. Is the picture going a bit funny, or is it okay? Good, thank you. Okay, for sticking the miniatures together, what we do first for these miniatures, of course, we have to find out and make sure they fit together. So, as you can see, this actual tail piece fits nice and snug. I don't need to take any flashing off, it's all nice. And all I need to do is add a little bit of super glue to the tail port. And not too much, don't need a lot for these miniatures. And then we just slide that on, and we'll just hold it there for a couple of seconds until it sticks. I feel you on that one, Highland lass. I lost a lot of motivation after Christmas when my friend died. I think I was out of it for about 2 months. I couldn't paint. I couldn't do anything. There's nothing worse than losing your mojo and what you want to do, and it takes a lot to get it back. Hello, Red Wolf. This is. I don't know if I'd ever use a dragon this size in game. What do you guys think? Would you actually use? Yes, I totally agree, Highland Lass. It is Francis. It's been absolutely an awful year. Who would use this size dragon in a game in chat? Would this appeal to you? For me personally, it's a showpiece, but I can't see me ever using something this size in game. I actually prefer the smaller dragons because I like to do my dungeons. So I'd have a smaller dungeon with some smaller miniatures for my dragons, for my encounters. Yes, it's definitely a showpiece, but for an actual game, well, for a start, it wouldn't fit on my table. It definitely wouldn't fit on my table. I find a lot of companies now are getting bigger and bigger with their miniatures. It's almost like you got a size battle on who makes the largest, biggest miniatures. But does that make the game better? I don't think so. I personally believe, in my own opinion, I prefer a smaller miniature. So it is lovely to have these large scale models, but personally, just give me a smaller dragon. I know this. Go for 2mm. Yeah, I've seen your 2mm knife. Napoleon armies and stuff. I'm just sticking this together quickly because I just want to give you an idea of the size and scale of this miniature on the base. Because when you have this in game, there's no way it's an end game boss. You know, it's. I think you'll have a party of 10 at level 20, and you still wouldn't have much of a chance against it. Okay. Now I'm not going to stick all the heads on, but I can give you an idea of how large it is. I'm just waiting for this to dry a little bit more, and then we'll move on a little bit further. What I can do actually is I can show you the paints that I use for this miniature while that glue is setting. Now, Reaper miniatures, of course, do their MSP paints, and they have thought of everything for your paints, because they've actually got paints that will work perfectly for this miniature. So we have Dragon Green, so we can have one of the heads of our Dragon Green. We got Dragon White, so we can have the white-headed dragon. We got the Dragon Red, so we can have the red dragon's head. We got the Dragon Black, so we can have the black dragon's head. But I couldn't find a Dragon Blue, so I'm going to use Ultramarine Blue from MSP for the blue head. But perfect. All you got to do is go onto the Reaper Miniatures website, type in dragon, and you'll get all the different coloured paints. I don't know why they didn't have a blue one. Maybe they have and I missed it. Yes, of course. Casper Kenobi, of course they're good for dioramas. That's why I'm doing it. I mean, I got my glass display cabinets full of dioramas and miniatures, large miniatures, and 70% of these miniatures will never get used because they are dioramas. They are too large for my games, you know. So I'm quite happy to use a small miniature. But for collections, as we are all collectors, and don't anybody deny it and say I'm not a collector, we all love our miniatures, so we get more and more and more and more. I mean, the first thing I did when Reaper did the Kickstarter for this actual miniature was I put it in my basket. I didn't even think about cost or nothing. I think I just... So let's have a... Oh, I've got to zoom out even further. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, let's see if I can find Sephora scale. There he is. Right, just got to be careful here because I've got a tiny little thing underneath. Now, I haven't added the wings yet to this guy. But if you can see Sephora scale, there's Sephora scale. Let's zoom in to see Sephora scale. There's Sephora scale. And that's your normal human-sized miniature. And then if you zoom out, and 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 zoom out, you suddenly get, you suddenly realise how large this miniature really is. It's the biggest dragon Reaper miniatures have ever produced so far. In fact, it's probably before they released the pirate ship, this will be their largest miniature they've ever produced. So, is that Renegade Shank in the house? Hello, Renegade Shank. And of course, we can stick on our little bits here and there. So it's just a massive... Let's take this back off again so I can see what I'm doing. There we go. I'm going to start sticking the rest of these little bits on. And what we'll do is... I will move this away so I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to just put that up there. Get that out of the way. I'll move that over here. We'll stick the rest of these little bits on. And then we can actually make a start, maybe painting some of the heads. Okay. Okay. Now, another thing for this miniature, you'll need something to fill in all the little gaps. You will get little gaps no matter what you do with these type of miniatures. But the Bones miniatures are very simple to fix by using some Vallejo. I use the Vallejo putty, which is absolutely amazing for filling little gaps, which I'm going to show you now in a second. So today is really just about prepping our miniature, checking for mould lines. We remove the mould lines, and of course we can get the miniature ready for painting. What's that? It's WizKids, not Reaper. What are we talking about now? Are you talking about the Tiamat from WizKids? That's they got a huge, great big Tiamat miniature they've released. Now the Tiamat miniature from WizKids is pre-painted, so there's a huge difference. You're not going to get it unpainted. So yes, it might be a fantastic miniature, but unless you want to have that miniature to paint yourself, you've got no chance of getting one because it's already a pre-painted miniature. Maybe they'll release one in the future, but also $400 is a little bit high in my book for a miniature, even though it's bigger than my dog. I definitely wouldn't say no to it, that's for sure, but £400 is really breaking my budget for a miniature. I mean, this Ma'al Drakar is setting you over $100 for this one miniature. But when you see the scale and the size of the miniature, yeah, Red Wolf. I'm not going to say anything too much about that. I have I've had pre-painted miniatures from Reaper, because Reaper used to do the pre-painted miniatures as well. I've had pre-painted miniatures from WizKids Games. Now, there's nothing wrong with having pre-painted miniatures if you're not a painter yourself or you're a collector. But once you get to a certain stage in your painting and you reach a tabletop standard in your own personal painting, what you'll find is when you get these pre-painted miniatures, you'll be looking at them and you'll be like, nah. You'll want something just a tiny bit better because you are better as a painter yourself. But a lot of collectors do absolutely love pre-painted miniatures, and there's nothing wrong in that. And again, it's like it's a collection. People want the whole set. So once you buy one, you're going to buy more. Let me see if I can get these in. Okay. So again, I'm just using the super glue going around the edges of this. Before I glue the miniature, of course, I check to see if the parts fit, and they do. And my super glue's fallen over, and I just put that in there. Keep some pressure on it. It's crazy, isn't it? Some of the prices you pay now for miniatures. Absolutely crazy. $400. $400 for a dragon. That's nuts. That is absolutely crazy. Yes, Red Wolf. I am totally. Excuse me. Totally agreeing with you there. Totally agreeing with you there. If you're paying a premium price, you want a premium paint job. Of course you do. I can't say too much about that dragon. I know it's very expensive. I've seen a few pictures of the paintwork for that dragon, and to be honest, it does look very nice, but I haven't seen a close-up picture or anything yet, so I am not going to stake my reputation on saying something's bad when it might actually be very good. WizKids have some fantastic dragons. I mean, as you all know, I collect all the unpainted WizKids miniatures. If you ever want to see the WizKids painted miniature, unpainted shows, I do them every Thursday. So tune in every Thursday if you want to see the WizKids miniatures. Mondays is all about the Reaper miniatures. And this is a good old waiters around just for this one. Once again, all I'm doing is I am just sticking the body together. I'm not going to add the wings, and I'm not going to add the heads because I'll be painting them all separately to the body, and they'll be added at a later date. Because with the body, then I can easily give this a nice primer coat. But I want most of my detail and artwork to be done on the heads, because that's what you'll initially look at when you look at the miniature. Thank you, Adventure Check. Okay, so we just add the arm. I mean, it's a solid beast of a miniature. I'm going to have to zoom out again. And you'll have to excuse the lens glare. White is not the best plastic to show you underneath my lamps. It reflects the light, and then you can actually get quite a glare from the miniature. There we are. So I'll just let that set a little bit, and then I'll show you the Vallejo putty filler and how we use that. And then we'll have to go around all the mould lines and get that all prepped up nicely. Now for removing mould lines, of course you need a nice sharp crafting knife. Let's move in a little bit closer. And it just all we do is we go around. Let's see if we can get a much better focus for this. Let's just show you what I'm doing. Nope, there we are. That's a bit better. Now I think you can see this. As you can see, there's a few mould lines, and it goes around the jaws. And what we do with these mould lines, we can just take them off very carefully with our little crafting knife. Now, with a crafting knife and with bones, you will find it's super easy to remove mould lines because it is a very soft plastic. So all we're doing is going over all the miniature, checking for those lines, because what will happen is if you don't remove the mould lines on this miniature, once you've painted the miniature, added an ink wash or done any dry brushing, every single mould line will show up, and it can absolutely ruin your miniatures, seeing these mould lines. So what we do, we just check each miniature, and we can just remove any little mould lines you see. Thank you for following, Mini Piet. Now you can remove mould lines two ways. You can either scrape. Thank you for following, Xmat Dave. And we just go on to the next one. There's some mighty horns in this guy. And again, we are just scraping away the plastic. We're going on an edge, like a little 45-degree angle, and you can actually just scrape away the mould line using the edge of your blade. And again, but we need to do this before we paint the miniature, because you will find once you've added that ink wash or dry brush the miniature, every single raised area on that miniature will pop. So every time you have a mould line, you'll see it miles away. So we just, it does take a while. If you're doing this in the house, you've got all the time in the world. But it is important to try and remove as many mould lines as possible, especially if you are, doing it as a showpiece. The last thing you wanted to see is a nasty little mould line over your miniature. But it does take quite a while to prep up your miniatures and make sure they're ready for prepping. So it will take me a while to get these heads ready for painting, because I want them to be perfect for that first initial coat of paint. I'm not cutting towards myself. I'm yes, and I will mention that again. Hints and tips for using craft knives. Never cut towards yourself like I'm doing here. Now, it's okay to cut towards yourself. See the blade here? I've got the blade here. If you've got that blade on a 45-degree angle and then you're going towards yourself, there's no way you can cut yourself. And I'll show you. Look. See, if I'm going like this, I can't cut myself because I'm going at a 45-degree angle and the blade is facing that way. The blade is facing towards over there, so I cannot cut myself. If I went the other way, which I'm not going to show you, then I'm going to cut myself. So if you're using the blade, cut away from yourself if you've got the blade flat. If you're cutting towards yourself, 45-degree angle, and then you can go all the way up and you're not going to hurt yourself. Yes, Rod, you I know I cut my finger. No. Rod, it's true. When I first started painting, you didn't think about mould lines. You didn't care about stuff like that. I look back at some of my really old minis and I can see I've missed. I still miss mould lines now. It's normal. And also, removing mould lines is probably one of the boring, horriblest things ever, because you know, you just want to paint the miniature. You don't want to be removing mould lines everywhere. But if you don't, once you've painted that miniature and you see the mould lines, you'll be like, oh damn it, I wish I removed the mould lines. But it's all too easy to not do that. And it's another huge tip as well, and you've probably noticed that I didn't do that, is Bones miniatures. I have removed this directly from the box. Okay, now it's really important that you understand, when you use the Bones miniatures, especially the original white Bones plastic, you need to wash it first before you paint it. Now, I've made the mistake tonight of sticking this together before I've washed it, and I've just remembered now. The last one of these I painted, the paint pulled because of the exact same thing. So you need to wash these minis. Any miniature that's plastic, you wash in warm soapy water, and then rinse it off with cold water. And the reason for that is because every single one of these miniatures is produced in a mould, and you get residue all from the mould process. Now what happens if you paint directly over the Bones miniature and it hasn't been washed? You've got a high chance that when you add your paint, your initial covering, your primer coat, you'll get pooling of your paint, because what happens is the chemicals from that mould process makes your paint not stick to the actual miniature. It's a bit like that stuff you put on your car. You know, you polish your car, and instead of that, and what it does, it makes the raindrops fall on your car, not stick to the car. It makes them into bubbles and they kind of fall off. Same type of principle with your miniatures. If you don't wash your miniatures, you're not getting rid of that initial sheen from the mould factory, and of course you'll get the same effect, and your paint will end up pooling in all the different areas of the miniature. Now what I'll have to do is I'll have to wash this now. I'll have to put it into the bathtub and give that a good wash, because I can guarantee you this will not stick properly, because I haven't washed this miniature. The larger miniatures excuse me, the larger miniatures are normally more of a problem than the small ones for pooling. breeding mould lines. Mould lines are a miniature painter's it's our nightmares. It honestly is. And what you'll find as well with the mould lines, you won't see them. They hide. They're like little worms, and they hide around the miniature. And like I said, it's only when you actually finish the miniature, you know, you give it a little dry brush, these mould lines will pop out everywhere and poke their little tongues out at you. Yes. Okay, let me show you the this plastic putty. Now this plastic putty was bought for me by Renegade Shank. Now I didn't know about this putty before, and Renegade Shank, one of my best friends and patrons here, he sent me this, and it goes into all the gaps of your miniatures. Now it's like toothpaste. You can get it on Amazon, and it hardens into like a solid plastic. So let me show you. As you can see, there's little gaps here. Let me see if it's an open one. 1 second, let me grab a bit of tissue. Yes, that's fine. So, super easy to use. It's got a little funnel on there, and all we do is at the top, just like you're gonna brush your teeth, you put it in toothpaste on your brush, and all we do is we squeeze that into all the little gaps. It's an instant gap filler. It's absolutely amazing stuff. Now you can use green stuff, you know, the 2-part epoxy resin. You can use milliput. Milliput. Claire loves it when I say milliput. I don't know why. She says she laughs every time I say milliput. Milliput. She probably thinks of our cat Millie. But But because it's got a lovely little funnel, you can get into all those little nooks and crannies and fill in all those little bits. Nice and easy. Yeah. And it's completely clear. What you can also do as well, if I can find them, here we are, is, again, going back to my little cotton buds. These are the little cotton buds. I use them to get the wax out of my ears. But what you do with these little cotton buds is you dip them into a little bit of water. So we've got our little water here, and we just dip them into your water. Get a tissue, take off the excess water, so it's still a little bit moist. You can feel it's moist on the back of your finger there. And what we do is we go along that little line that we just put there, and this will smooth out that paste that we've just added, and it will make it ultra smooth, and it will blend totally in with the miniature, and you won't, and it will just look part of the miniature. It doesn't look like you've stuck in any plastic. And there we are. It's just gone now. Now we've got a perfect fit, and we can cover that, and it'll be amazing for painting. You won't get any lumps and bumps. It'll just look fantastic. Yes, there's lots of things with actually painting the bones miniatures. The new okay, I'll have a little chat about these the painting the bones miniatures, and that is the very first initial bones miniatures were very difficult for painting, mainly due to the chemical formula they made with the bones plastic, and this is no different. If you use a primer, rattle can primers, you'll find in most cases the rattle can primers you can't use on these miniatures. Now, what will work on these miniatures is if you airbrush them using Vallejo Air miniature paint. Now that's the only paint that I have found that has worked 100% so far without getting any sticky paint. Now with the Army Painter rattle can primers, with the Games Workshop rattle can primers, nearly all those priming paints that you get in the rattle can, they do not work with the bones miniatures. And it even says on the Reaper Bones website, if you cannot use rattle can primers with the original bones miniatures because there's a chemical reaction, and for some reason it stopped the paint drying. So whatever you do, and I learnt the hard way, I had the Reaper Miniatures skeletal dragon, you know, that huge skeletal dragon they had. I spray painted that with Army Painter skeleton bone. Now it didn't dry, it just did not dry, and it just stayed tacky and awful. But what I did in the end of that miniature was I soaked the whole miniature in fairy liquid in my kitchen, and I left it there for a couple of days, and I was able to scrub off all that initial primer rattle can. So if you do make a mistake with spraying your miniatures and you get a tacky miniature that doesn't dry, if you use washing up liquid, now I don't know what it's called in the USA, the different types of liquid. In the UK, we use like fairy liquid. It's like a green stuff that you wash your dishes with. Now, if you put some of that into a sink, you'll be able to remove plastic from your plastic miniatures. Yeah, dish soap, or I'm not sure what it is over there, Michelle. I know it's a little bit different, but it's probably the same type of thing. But that will remove any plastic from your miniature, any paint from your plastic miniatures. Yes, and that's the thing. That's the thing. Yes. Yes, dish soap in general will work. And yes, never use rattle cans on your Reaper miniatures. Now, rattle cans will work on your Bones Black. I don't know if any of you have tried Bones Black miniature, but I have painted many now, and I've used rattle can primers for my Bones Black miniatures, and they have worked a treat, not a problem at all. But these old miniatures with this white plastic, do not use rattle can primers. You can use Vallejo Air if you're using an airbrush. Airbrush paint works very well on your first initial Bones miniatures. But I don't get the other thing where I've got a tacky finish sometimes with the Bones is by adding a varnish. It only seems to be so far with the white Bones miniatures, so be careful of the varnishes you use as well. So when you've actually finished the paint and you prime the miniature, even when it's got a few coats of paint on, sometimes you can add like a satin varnish and you'll still get that tacky feel, and it never seems to go away. So if you stay clear of those type of things for your Bones miniatures, you'll be fine. But this is only initially on the white Bones miniatures. All the grey Bones, your Bones Black, it's a different type of plastic, and you can use any paint in any company, and you'll be okay. But definitely don't try using rattle can primers on any of your white Bones miniatures. Oh, and that's me. And it's 9 o'clock. I have to say goodnight to you all. I have to take my little Bonnie for a little walk. It's absolutely fantastic talking to you as well, Highland Lass. It's been such a long time, and it's really, really beautiful to see you in chat. I really hope you are doing okay, and I miss you loads. So I'm going to say goodnight to every single one of you. Don't forget to pop in to see Thule later on tonight. And I will, well, loads of love to every single one of you again. I've totally lost it tonight. Okay, you take care, everybody, and thank you for watching the show.